Hi, this is Doug Lane, consumer analyst with Water Tower Research, and this is our quick take on Betterware de Mexico, BWMX on the New York Stock Exchange, or as the company likes to call itself, BEFRA. So what is BEFRA really? At its core, it's a direct-to-consumer platform built on relationships. Think of an army of independent associates and distributors who sell directly to consumers, mostly across Mexico, through a network that's been built and refined over 25 years. That's the Betterware brand. Home organization and household products sold door to door and through social selling. But here's the thing that makes this story interesting right now. Befra isn't a one brand company anymore. Back in 2022, they acquired Jafra, the cosmetics and beauty direct seller, and folded it into the same commercial engine. And just this year, they closed on something much bigger. They bought Tupperware's entire Latin America operation, including Mexico and Brazil, along with a royalty-free license to use the Tupperware name across the whole region permanently. Why does that matter? A few reasons. First, Tupperware is one of the most recognized brands in the world, and frankly, it's been undercapitalized for years, entering bankruptcy in September of 2024. Befra thinks it knows exactly what to do with it because they've already lived through this exact playbook once with Jafra, and its founder, Luis Campos, was a senior executive there back in the 90s. Second, this gives them a real foothold in Brazil, a market of over 200 million people and the largest direct selling market in the region that Befra's never operated in before. And third, on the numbers, this deal looks very attractive. They picked it up at roughly 3 times EBITDA, and management's own estimates is that it's going to be 40% accretive to earnings or better. That's a rare combination, a strategic entry into a huge new market that also makes the bottom line materially bigger right out of the gate. Now, what we like about the underlying business, separate from the Tupperware story, is the model itself. Befra runs asset light. They don't own a lot of factories or real estate. They lean on their distributor network instead of a traditional retail footprint, and that keeps fixed costs low and free cash flow strong. And they've translated that cash generation into one of the more disciplined capital allocation stories you'll find in the small cap consumer landscape. They've paid a dividend every single quarter since their IPO back in 2020. That's 25 quarters in a row, even when the business has hit a rough patch. And on leverage, this deal barely moves the needle. Befra heads into the Tupperware transaction at 1.5 times net debt to EBITDA, the lowest it's been in years. And the pro forma leverage after the deal only ticks up to about 1.9 times. Compare that to where they stood right after the Jafra acquisition back in 2022, when leverage spiked to nearly 3 times EBITDA. This time around, they're absorbing a transformational deal without adding significant leverage. But we won't pretend it's been a straight line. 2025 has had some real turbulence, a soft first quarter, some accounting noise around gross margins, a tough Mexican consumer backdrop. Mexico is still over 90% of revenue today, so this is very much a story tied to the health of that economy, its currency, and macro headwinds that are real risks worth watching. Integration risk is also real. Tupperware is a bigger, more complex asset than anything they've absorbed before. But step back, and here's the essence of the thesis. You've got a management team with a genuine track record of building and integrating direct selling brands, a business model that throws off cash even in soft years, and a shareholder-friendly capital return policy that's held up through the cycle. And now you have a transformational, accretive acquisition that opens up an entirely new geography. That's a combination of growth, cash generation, and shareholder returns that we think the market hasn't fully appreciated yet. For the full picture, the numbers, the risks, and our complete view, check out the initiation of coverage report on Betterware de Mexico and all our consumer research on www.watertowerresearch.com. Thanks for listening.